Hi, welcome to today's lesson. In this lesson, you'll be able to go through the following objectives, and by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to explain the full meaning of IP address, what an IP address is all about. Then, after you are able to know what is an IP address, the next objective that you achieve at the end of this lesson is you'll be able to identify your own IP address on your machine or any device that you are using, either phone, laptop, or computer. Also, you'll be able to identify how to check IP address on Windows operating systems. You'll also be able to know how to identify your own IP address on Kali Linux. In this lesson also, I will be able to perform and explain to you how you'll be able to identify your own IP address on your mobile phone. Either it is iPhone or Android. I will teach you for you to dive deep to understand how all these devices are connected and they are able to communicate on the network. If you like and you love this lesson, share it with someone and continue to dive deep. Have you ever asked yourself how devices which are connected on the network are able to communicate with each other? Example, if you want to send any data or emails or files or other things that you want to share with someone who is not near to you. Let's start from your own home or your own office. Have you ever sat down to ask yourself, how are these devices able to communicate and share resources? It is all about the function and the secret behind IP address. And today, I'm going to explain and show you the secret and what is hidden behind the scene, how devices are able to communicate with each other on the network. We begin with your home, which is the local area network. How can your phone communicate with your laptop? And your laptop can also communicate with your computers. All these helps in the form of IP address. The analogy that I can use to explain to you here when you come to IP address is your home address. Anyone who want to get to your house or anyone who want to drive to your home needs your address before the person can locate you. If someone want to send you a parcel at the post office for the parcel to get to your own house, you need the home address. So our home addresses are the physical addresses that are used to share information or that are used to share packages which are posted from our neighbors. When it comes to the digital world, the digital address that devices can communicate with each other is what is called the IP address. And that is what we are going to learn today. Now that you understand what an IP address is, based on the literal explanation I've given to you, let's explain what an IP address is. An IP address, which is the Internet Protocol address, is a unique identifier that is assigned to every device connector to a computer network. Here there are a lot of networks, but the one we are referring to is what is called the computer network. So here we are referring to only the computer network. So with the unique identifier, like the house number, that is assigned to every house and their location, so that when someone wants to get to that house, the person will use the house address to get to that house. The same process or the same procedure or analogy comes in the form of digital address. So the digital address that we are referring here is the IP address as soon as your device is connected to the network. In my other lessons, I've explained how the dynamic host configuration, which is the DHCP, assigns the IP address to those devices that are connected on the network. The router helps in order for the IP address to be distributed to the local area network devices so that they can also access and speak and also communicate with each other, and at the same time too, they can share resources together. So without the IP address, the internet could not function. I want you to think about the IP address as your home address, as I was explaining. On the internet, it is the digital address, which is the IP address, that allows data to find its way to get to the right devices that are communicating with each other. So in the layman concept, let's talk or let's discuss about these things when it comes to IP address. Everybody has a name, and it is your name that will help someone to identify you. So we all have names as soon as we are given birth to, and your name will be used to identify you. Now when it comes to ID cards, each and every one has an ID card, especially your social security number. You also have your IRS number. You have your tax ID or your tax number. When it comes to the classroom, or let's take something like the cars that we drive, the first thing that you can use to identify a particular car is the number plate. And number plate, and then also the driving license. Every driver has a driving license, which is a unique license that is corresponding to that driver. So when you pick up cars, we can use the number plate to identify that car. The driver has a driving license that will help to identify the driver who is driving that car. Cars comes with models, and then also they come with types. So if you look at all these, you'll be able to identify the type of the car, the model of the car, the number plate, and then the driving license that the person has to make that person unique from all other cars that are on the street. Some cars may look the same. The model and the type may look the same, like Toyota, Nissan, Chevrolet, and others. But what makes them different is the number plate. This can be used to link to what is an IP address that is connected on the network. A lot of devices are in your home, your local area network, that share resources. If you want to send a file to your laptop, how is your phone able to identify your laptop on the local area network, which you have your router in your own home? So this is your router in your house. Now, if you have this router that is in your house, and your phone is connected to the router, your laptop is connected to your router, your computer is connected to your router, your TV is connected to your router at the same place, the same house. But if you want to send a file from your phone or a picture from your phone to your laptop, how is your phone able to discover the laptop? It is because of the laptop's IP address. Also, the phone can use the MAC address also to identify the laptop. So, here there are two things here. Either they use the MAC address, and then also they use the IP address. These two things are very, very important for devices to communicate on the network. If it is a local area network, the device can communicate to each other using the MAC address. And also, if it is connected on the internet through the router, then the device will communicate to each other using the IP address and the MAC address. So here, the device will find each other and communicate with each other using these two things here I've listed: the IP address and then the MAC address. So as long as we have these unique identifiers, we will be able to identify each individual or each device. The next example I can give to you is when you go to work. At your own workplace, we have what is called employee ID. So the employee ID will help all employees to know the particular person that we are talking about or we are referring to at the workplace. We also have badges, and that badge will help you to identify whom the person is. When you go to school, in your own school, we also have registration numbers. As we go to the cars, we also have registration numbers. So the cars who have registration number need to have a driving license where the driver that will have a number plate. That will help the car to be registered in the particular state in which the car is located. If you go to school, we also have registration numbers for each and every student who are enrolled in the school. After your reg numbers, you are given an ID to let you know that you are part of the school. All these analogies are physical things. But when you go to the digital aspect, that is where the IP address also comes in. So the IP address is the digital address of all the devices that are connected to a computer network. The word is a computer network. So as soon as you connect your digital device like the Apple Watch, the digital watch, the Android watches, the mobile phone, the tablets, and anything that uses the internet or Wi-Fi or that uses any internet protocol service, then that device can be termed, or that device needs an IP address. So, if you understand all these concepts, then I can explain or define an IP address in the digital aspect of your understanding so that you'll be able to know the detailed explanation of IP address. So, the IP address, or the Internet Protocol address, that is the full meaning of IP address. So normally we use the word IP, Internet Protocol. So the Internet Protocol address, you may ask yourself, what is an Internet Protocol? Before I'll add the address to it. When you talk about Internet Protocol, we are talking about the rules, the standards, and also we can also say maybe the laws that help digital devices to communicate on the internet as they receive and share resources. So here we are saying that they are digital rules, they are digital standards, or let's say they are digital laws that help digital devices that are connected to the Internet Protocol or that are connected to the network will be able to use these laws and rules to share resources and also communicate. So here, the digital rules that is governed between devices that are connected on the internet. for those devices to share and to receive information or data and resources. That particular law or rules are called the Internet protocols. Think about driving in the traffic light or driving. When you are driving, there are road signs, there are road regulations and traffic regulations that we all follow so that we all drive safely to avoid accidents. If these laws are broken, what happens? You'll be pulled by the police. So in driving, we have laws and we have regulations. We have standards, compliances, that each and every driver, as soon as you sit behind your seat and you start to drive, you must follow the stop signs, the U-turns, the speed ramps, the road signs, and all other aspects. You need to follow all those. If you go against any of these, what happens? You are supposed to be fined, or sometimes you can cause an accident. That is what goes on as soon as you sit behind your car. The same rules also happens when you are connected on the internet. There are rules for sharing devices, there are rules for sharing resources, and there are rules for communicating. So in communication, there are rules, and then also in sharing resources, there are rules. These rules that are digital are called the Internet Protocol. So when we talk about Internet Protocol address, which is the IP address, we are trying to say that the unique identifier, a particular number that is assigned to any device that is connected on the network, so that those rules to share and to communicate will be governed against that device. It is a unique, and nobody and no device will have the same IP addresses or address. That is why it is unique. And I'm taking my time to explain an IP address to your understanding, basic understanding for you to understand. So, IP address or Internet Protocol address is a unique string of numbers assigned to each device connected to a computer network. Remember, the word is a computer network that uses the Internet Protocol for communication. So as soon as that computer network uses the Internet Protocol, then that unique digital identifier is assigned to that device. We can also say that it is a unique string of numbers that are separated with what periods. So you can see there are 4. I will come to this and explain to you all these styles as you keep on diving deep with me in IP address. Alright, let's move on to the next lesson. I will now move on and show you how to identify your IP address. So now that you know the meaning of IP address, let me take my time to show you how to identify your IP address. So, I have my virtual machine here, which is inside my VirtualBox. So, the 2 machines that I'm going to use to show you how to discover your IP addresses are the Windows and the Kali. So I have Windows 7 here and I have Kali Linux. First, let me use the Kali Linux 2024 virtual machine. Alright, so if I open Kali Linux, this is my Kali Linux command line interface. If I come to the terminal here, this button, the terminal emulator, if I click on the terminal emulator, I'll get this window button open. Right-click and zoom in to enlarge the text button. So, that is it. And if I want to check my IP address, I will type ifconfig ifconfig and press enter. If you press enter, you will see this text or this command line interface. You come to the eternal 0, this side. The second one under the broadcast and the multicast is your IP address. So you see inets, and then it comes with the IP address. This is IP version 4. The third one is another IP address, but this the IP version 6. We are not into these terms here, but I'm just showing you the IP address where you can find your IP address in CAN Linux. So the second one are the inets is your IP version 4. The one with the inet 6 is your IP version 6. There are two versions of IP address which I will teach you later on. So if you want to check your IP address is the ifconfig on Kali. Now let's move on to Windows, and I'll show you how to discover your IP address. This is my Windows interface. So this Windows 7. So if I come to Windows 7 and I want to check my IP address on Windows, I'll click on the Start button here, where you see the Windows icon here. The Start button, and type CMD. And type CMD. Click Enter, and it will open this Windows face for you. So this is my Windows page. If I want to check the IP address in Windows is ipconfig. So look at the differences. If it is Kali, is ifconfig, but if it is Windows, is ipconfig. Press enter. And this one who gives straightforward. This is my IP address in the Windows 7. So this is how to check your IP address in Windows 7. So my IPv4 address is what you are seeing here. So this is how to discover your IP address on Windows. I've already explained or shown you how to discover your IP address in Kali. Let me go back to Kali and show you another method of discovering your IP address. So, another method of showing or another way to identify your IP address in Kali Linux is to type IP addr and then show. IP addr space show. So IP space addr space and then show. This will also show you your IP address. Press enter and you'll see the IP address. So if you want to know the IP address, you'll come to where it says Ethernet 0. This place will show you your IP address. And then you'll come to the inet as I said earlier on. And this is it. So it'll show you your IP address, the same as you did here on the first one, which will also show you the same IP address. Here is only the command that are different. The first one I use, ipconfig, and it give me this IP address, which I have here. The second one that I just did, I only changed the command interface, and I type only this IP addr and show with spaces in between them, and it gave me my IP address, which is the Ethernet 0. So if you come to the bottom to the inet side, you see it's the same, but this one comes with /24. You are beyond this, and if you keep on watching my videos, I will explain to you how this /24 or what it means. The inet 6 is the version 6 of the Internet Protocol address, which is the IP address. So, there are two versions of IP address. We have the IP version 4, which comes like this, and an IP version 6 with the INS 6, and anytime you see an IP address like this, which comes with this colon, is an IP version 6. If you see the one that comes with period, only dots, or point, is the IP version 4. This is how you can differentiate the two versions of IP address. If you are in my basic or foundation class, I will explain all these stuff to you, and you understand how these two versions of IP address are calculated. Alright, so this is how you can identify your IP addresses on Windows and also on the Kali. Now let's move on to how you can find your IP address on your mobile phones. Let's dive deep now. Alright, welcome to Safari Deep Dive Room. This is the classroom where all lessons are well explained on the whiteboard. You can take your pen and your book or your notes and write these steps down on how to check your IP address on your phone. Either it is an iPhone or it is an Android. I'll show you all the steps on how to check your IP address on your phone. Let's start now. To check your IP address on your phone, I don't know the phone that you use, or I don't know the phone you are using, but if you are using iPhone, these steps goes to you. To check your IP address on your iPhone, first step, go to Settings. If you go to Settings, then the next step that you have to go to is go to your Wi-Fi, where they are writing Wi-Fi. If you go to Wi-Fi, just tap this button, the one you see an I with a round circle, that is at your right-hand side. When you tap that round circle that is at your right-hand side when you tap your Wi-Fi, once it is connected to your Wi-Fi, you'll be able to discover your IP address with a lot of parameters. So over there, you will see the phone name, you see the phone IP address, and then you see a lot of information over there. So if you're using an iPhone, and then you click on the settings, go to Wi-Fi, just click on the Wi-Fi, and then you go to your right-hand side, where you see something like this. You see a radio button, which is above it. You see this radio button above it. When you see that radio button, you may see this place is maybe you've on it or you've off it. When you see this radio button, you see a certain parole. So where you see that parole? Over there. After the parole, you see the Wi-Fi symbol over there. And then you see a very round circle with I like this inside it. Click on this and it will release you, or it will take you to where we are going. So over there, when you click on this, you click on the I button, it will take you to the place where you can discover your IP address. Scroll down to where they are written IPv4 address. When you go to the IPv4, you will see just beyond it, or just at the right-hand side of it, you see automatic. Under the automatic, you see your IP address under the configure IP. So after you see configure IP, you see something like automatic. so you see to be automatic. So, under the configure IP address, you see the next one over there as IP address. And just at the right side, you see your IP address over there. You may see it like this, maybe 192.168.1, maybe 25. That will be your IP address. This is what I was talking about. And you see under the IP address as subnet mask. We will come to this later on. Today I'm not teaching you, I'm not explaining about subnet mask. And then the last one, you see your router's IP address. And you see your router with an IP address like the IP version 4. You see another IP address just at the right-hand side of your router. And then under it, you'll be seeing configure DNS and you'll see configure proxy. You don't need all those tasks, but I just want you to know how to identify your IP address in your iPhone. So this is how to find your IP address in your iPhone. If you're using Android, let's go to Android. So those using Android version, this is how you can discover your IP address. The first thing that you have to do, also go to settings. And you go to settings on your Android phone. Go to Wi-Fi. If you go to Wi-Fi, the test step that you have to do is click on the connected network. So which network have you been connected to on your Android phone? So click on that connected network. If it is a Wi-Fi or whatever connection that you have made on your Android, click on it. So click the network, and then the fourth step for you to discover your IP address is you go to Advanced. And after you click on Advanced, see IP. And over there, you'll be able to get to know your IP address. So, if you're using Android, this is the step, or these are the steps you can take to discover your IP address, which is the digital unique identification of your device. Either it is a phone, or if it is an Android phone or an iPhone, if it is an Android, you use these steps to know your IP address. And as I said, an IP address is the digital unique identifier assigned to the device as it is connected to computer network, which uses the Internet Protocol for communication. That is how you'll be able to identify your IP address on an Android. If this an iPhone, then you follow these steps. This what you are going to get, or this how you get your IP address on your iPhone. So on your iPhone, this what you do, go to settings, go to Wi-Fi, and when you go to your Wi-Fi, the right-hand side, you tap this icon, and if you can't see it, I'll label it here how you see it. You see the radio button over there. Under the radio button, click on the small I after the padlock and then the Internet or the Wi-Fi's logo or the symbol. That I, click on that I, and it will release you to this place. Scroll down to where they have written IPv4 address and go to configure IP. You see it to be on automatic. Under that configure IP, you see the IP address itself that I'm talking about, and this will help you to discover your IP address on your iPhone. If you find this very useful, subscribe, share, and comment for more videos of this.